on the thunder throws, so shock and groan. Disobedience turned their hearts to stone. Rejected the truth, lost in the zone. Now they're paying rent in Hades' bone home. Those crackheads, no shelter in the night. Underworld gates, that eternal fright. Denials echoed through tolerant flight. Only face facts could have saved their light. Lightning crack, no way back. Lost souls on brimstone track. Ignorance, gotta pay the toll. Zeus truth, or face the dole. Talons boats, too full to float. Wails of the foolish on the underworld note. Denied Olympian decree, now they tote. Eternal chains, no antidote. Gods convene, truth unseen. Demigods whisper, lost souls scream. Follow the path or drown in the stream. Zeus' wrath, a cruel dream. Chains of torment echo loud. Lost in sulfur, desperate, proud. Zeus watches from Olympus' cloud. Rejected truth, their fates avowed.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It is I, Miss Triple H. Let's go. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen.
No way back. Lost souls on brimstone track.
All right, let's get this show started, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Friday. We're going to have an abbreviated show. And you know exactly why we're going to have to do that. Let's go.
Don't be wrapped up in your feelings and be careful when you flashing.
And when you play the game, man, you better know your options.
Don't try to photocopy when you out here being saucy.
It's getting too spicy, I ain't even had my coffee. Good morning, ladies and
Careful
gentlemen.
when you flashing. And when you play the game, man, you better know your options. Don't try to photocopy when you out here being saucy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
I'm up early in the morning, time to get in. Time to show and prove, show you what I've been doing. They saying
Once again, we are back in the Thunderdome, ladies and gentlemen. No, I can't do any battling. All right, hold on. Decline. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Once again, we are back in the Thunderdome. I'm your host, I'm your pilot. You know exactly why we are here. But before we get started, let's take care of some housekeeping items. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know who I am, I go by the name Zeus, or as some like to say, Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H? Well, it's quite simple. The first H is because I'm honest, the second H is because I'm humble, and the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, is because you've guessed it, I am and will always remain the most handsome. Many of you are very familiar with what we do over here on this side of TikTok, on this side of town. What we do is very, very special. We hold people on the right accountable for their lies and their spirit of disinformation and misinformation that is taken over, right? And it got them in a very, very nasty, compromising situation, all right? And so with that being said, oh yeah, and by the way, I think we're on the countdown of this app being disappeared, and I still am trying to determine which would be the best place to go. There's a lot of different apps out there, so we're gonna talk about that. But yes, you can find me if you click on the link in my bio. You find me on all of the social media platforms. I'm definitely on IG. I am definitely on YouTube. What else is out there? X and Blue Sky. Yeah, usually you just type 3 Crossing, or if it's YouTube, you type Zeus Triple H. And you'll be able to find me on all those places doing what I love to do, which is what? Drill, baby, drill. Yeah. When I say drill, baby, drill, ladies and gentlemen, what I'm talking about is what I do. What Donald Trump was talking about doing, he's not going to do that. As a matter of fact, quiet as it is all kept. We all know what Donald Trump is about to do, right? W. Cabera in the chat. We all know what Donald Trump is about to do. He's about to send this country to a 1929 style depression, and we'll get into that in just a bit. So listen up. If I have any Trump supporters out there, I got a bit of a heads up to give you. If you are allergic to the truth, or as my good friend Brother Swervin once said to me, you're lactose intolerant. You know what that means? That means, you know how people are lactose intolerant? That means they're allergic to dairy products. Well, if you're lactose intolerant, you know what that means? That means you're allergic to the facts. you might want to leave this live and go on about your miserable morning, all right? Because I guarantee you, by the time you get done talking to me or some of my wonderful friends out here, your day is you're going to feel real terrible inside. But when you feel terrible inside after listening to Big Zeus, good morning, Val, and nice to see you. When you feel terrible inside after listening to us, actually, that's a good sign. That means we're stirring up something inside of you, all right? And we're waking you up and making that MAGA demon realize, this is not a safe space, right? So if you don't want that to happen to you, do us all a huge favor and listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave.
Good morning.
If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Thank you. And then you let it come down like that, all right? Anybody out there that still is, I guess, how do I want to say this? Anyone out there still think President Biden and his Vice President Kamala Harris did a terrible job in this country? I just wanted to remind you, right, Kabira? Go straight to hell. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and do the Lake of Fire because this is an abbreviated show and I don't really got time. Anyone out there that believes President Biden and Joe Biden were terrible and they didn't help this country out, they weren't American, they weren't patriotic, but you still got on your knees and you worship this man right here, this man you know is unfit, go straight to hell. Let's go ahead and warm up that Lake of Fire. Go ahead, let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. You know what we got to do. It's Friday. These people need to hear it right away.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
Heaven, are you here, brother? Heaven, are you here? Because I didn't want to actually even give this any much energy. But Heaven, are you there, my brother? And those who were up late at night with Big Zeus, as I ventured off into the red world of delusions. And it goes right back to what I was asking for this week. I've been asking all week long, could any of the MAGA women get in the box, honestly, and explain, I'm not going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Trust me, they can do whatever they want. I'm going to be Zeus, whether I'm here or on any other app. It's the same unadulterated truth. So I go into those red spaces yesterday. They said, Zeus, do you want to stick to policy or do you want to stick to character? I said, how about we stick to character and then we can get into the policy, right, Tiffany, for the people, right, Shay? Okay, Zeus, tell us why you think Republicans, MAGA, are terrible people. And I said, okay. And I hate to hear it and hate to say it because we've all heard it for the entire year, all throughout the campaign. He's an adjudicated rapist. He's been impeached twice. All of the things. He's cheated on his wife. And every single instance, when you tell a Trump supporter who their daddy is, MAGA, look at this man. Do y'all have a problem looking at him? We've looked at this orange individual for a long time. We didn't want him in there. Why do y'all have such a hard time looking at this man and identifying bad behavior? And then you want to open up your eyes on TikTok, on any other social media platform, and you go, oh, Joe Biden is a bad person. So let me say this again. We were in that live yesterday. Let's go through E. Jean Carroll. All right. Was he found liable for SA and defamation? Let's ask the chat. In the chat, honestly, was Donald Trump found liable for SA and defamation? Put yes if he was or no if he wasn't. This is what I'm trying to help people that supposedly know how to think understand. Okay, you see that? You see that? Thank you. You see this, ladies and gentlemen? Everybody and their mama and their daddy and their brother, their auntie, their sister, their cousin, everybody knows, yes. These knuckleheads, and it was a bunch of women too, their first reaction was, well, what about Paula Jones talking about Bill Clinton? What about Tara Reid talking about Joe Biden? That was their initial reaction. And I used the same rules they played against me when we first started talking about this entire E. Jean Carroll thing. Zeus, before it actually went that far. Do you have a docket number? No, I don't have a docket number, but she's making the allegations. Oh, well, Zeus, you can't bring it up. Well, guess what? E. Jean Carroll eventually got a docket number. All right. And then actually she had her day in court, and then boom, the gavel came down. Trump is liable. Defamation to the tune of $80-something million. That's sealed. That's done. These knuckleheads yesterday, they got up there and said, well, you got to look at the case, Zeus. Do you know exactly what happened when they met in that department store in New York, Zeus? There's some details in there. And did you see her interview on Anderson Cooper? And Zeus, she said this and she said that, Zeus. So what we're going to do, Zeus, is we're going to say that's not a fair trial. This is what these Trump supporters do to Zeus. And Dark Heaven, you were there. Correct me if I'm wrong. They tried to say to me that this case that happened in New York was some sort of weaponization of the justice system. That's what they tried to tell me. And I said, no. We all are subjected to the same judicial system, the same judicial processes. No one's above the law. He's liable, ladies, and you voted for him. I mean, and so you would have thought that would have been what it was, right? So then they pivoted. What did they do? Heaven, you guys want to hear this? And this is the race baiting. They said, Zeus, since you're going to play that game, what about the Central Park 5? Now that's race baiting. Isn't that race baiting? We're talking about your daddy, this guy, Donald J. Trump, right? Isn't that race baiting? We're talking about Trump and E. Jean Carroll, and you want to bring up Central Park 5 to Big Zeus and Dark Heaven. I said, ma'am, that's race baiting, and we don't allow you to do that over here. But if you want to go there, okay, why is it race baiting? Because, you know, those gentlemen were black, and that was what I call a railroad, a grave miscarriage of justice. Well, there was some essay in there, Zeus, so that's what we were talking. Okay, and you know what they did? They went up there, and they tried to use a court case to justify that, you know what, the Central 5 Park people were guilty. I said, oh, my God. You guys are race baiting. Could you please find something else? You know what they did? And I brought up, that guy, Jeffrey E., the Lolita Express. And I said, why is this married man, Donald Trump, calling this guy Jeffrey E.? I asked, why do you think he's calling this man? Isn't that inappropriate? Oh, no, Zeus, he's a businessman. He got business with Jeffrey E. It was a real estate deal. Is that what y'all call it? Is that what y'all call calling up somebody is a disgusting monster? A real estate deal? They got themselves wrapped up in a pretzel right now, right? And then I said, what about Katie Johnson? Heaven, didn't we get him right here? We got him right there at the Katie Johnson. And we all know that was a terrible thing. These MAGA demons pulled up the Katie Johnson court case number. I was like, you know what? Thank you. Now I know you can read. Donald J. Trump's name all on the court docket number. All right. Jeffrey E. His name's there. And I'm thinking, that should already be game over. You should be asking yourself, what the heck is this guy's name doing next to this guy's name on a court document? They didn't stop there. And they found a word on that document that said dismissed, withdrawn, whatever. And I said, so wait a second, ma'am. You're going to believe the court document here when it involves Katie Johnson, right? But you're not going to believe the court document when it involves E. Jean Carroll. Caught you in another lie. Caught y'all being a bunch of hypocrites, right? And so this is why I say the gates of hell are busting wide open with you Trump supporters, because y'all all going straight there with that kind of logic. What are they paying y'all on TikTok? I got an honest question. What are these people paying you Trump supporters on TikTok to get out here and embarrass yourselves? What are they paying you? And please, if they ain't paying you, even worse. So guess what I'm going to do to each and every single one of those MAGA demons in that dark red room that I was in? And they know exactly who they are. The fake media won't tell them, but I'll tell them. May you rest in hell very well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's warm up the lake of fire. These Trump supporters are a bunch of liars. They're a bunch of hypocrites, and they think we can't see them for as they are. There's no double standard. There is a comprehension issue, and there is a bunch of misinformation and disinformation and a bunch of lies. And you ladies, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending them straight to hell. Let's give them a huge round of boos and shame. will never, ever allow people to convince me things that are wrong are right. Never. If Joe Biden is a criminal, how many of us have said it? If he's a criminal, lock him up. Simple. All right. But you just can't sit here and say, well, we could believe the courts on this side, but on this side, we can't. All of that shucking and jiving, all that dancing, you know what that is? That's just showing me you really have a very serious issue looking at Donald Trump for who he is. You have a real serious issue looking at Pete Hegseth for who he is. And I can only imagine what goes on in that house that you're living in with your MAGA-possessed husbands, your MAGA-possessed boyfriends. They run all over you. And then you want to get out here on TikTok and try to pretend like y'all some victims. No. You don't just stand up when a bunch of people, this is how character works. You don't just try to do the right thing when all eyes are on you. No, it's what you're doing in the corner in the dark all by yourself. You should still be standing on those principles. And then don't get out here and act like we didn't see you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, I had to get that off my chest because, you know, it's Friday. And I let those MAGA demons know I would address this on the show this morning, all right? If there's a Trump supporter out there, ladies and gentlemen, W alter ego, let's go. If there's a Trump supporter out there that thinks that I'm lying or that I'm wrong, please put a 1 in the chat and I'll bring you up real quick. All right, we do not got all morning, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, this is going to be an abbreviated show. Big Zeus has other things to do. Yes, the app is going to disappear. Hope, you know, that's what they say. It's going to disappear. But you know what? In the meantime and in between time, we might as well enjoy it like we enjoy it for what it is. Who is this? Who's this that said they're a Trump supporter? Betty Poppy Connor. If you don't mind, could you please send a guest request directly because I can't invite you? And I would love for you to actually come up here and actually try to help us understand how you ladies ended up in the situation that you're in. I do not want to hear, and this is serious. This is serious. This is... A lot of us understand violence, SA, all of that stuff. That's not allowed. That shouldn't happen. If it does happen, you really got to do what you got to do, all right, to get, you know, either rehabilitated, all right, if you're the man or the woman in that case, or you got to condone it, all right? And Betty, if you're still here, send me a direct guest request. I want to know, honestly, how did you wake up and vote for Donald Trump knowing like this guy is giving every man in your world permission to do exactly what Donald Trump does? Any Trump supporter, and I've been asking for the MAGA women to come up here, and believe it or not, hasn't it been real quiet, ladies and gentlemen, this entire week when we've been trying to get these MAGA women to come up here and explain why they committed, as far as I'm concerned, treason. It's treason if you think about it, right? To me, it's treason. It is some, listen, I get it. We can disagree on policy, but once you start talking about like directly affecting me and my rights, hold on. I'm not going to surrender to this crazy MAGA demon guy in the house who's running around here doing God knows what, insulting me and trying to make me feel like a terrible person simply just because I don't agree with him. Do you MAGA women understand it's okay to disagree with your partner? You understand that, MAGA men? You understand that she doesn't have to listen to you. You're no God. You wipe your behind just like everybody else. What makes you special? Because you what? Put your face deeper into Donald J. Trump's diaper? Sick stuff you guys have gotten yourselves into. Put a 1 in the chat if you're a Trump supporter. All right, and don't worry, I'll help you lower your taxes. I'll drill, baby, drill. We'll lower those taxes. We'll pay off your debt. W Zeus in the chat. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. They don't want to come up here and have an honest conversation. Look at this. They're like, oh my gosh, Zeus, it's Friday. Could you please relax a little bit, buddy? It's too much. Brendan, good morning. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
All right. Did you listen to my message this morning?
I listened to some of it.
Didn't I hit on everything that was, and it was all true, wasn't it?
All leftists are certainly truth averse.
That's an interesting way of denying reality. All right. But what
Yeah.
did I lie about?
No, I didn't say you lied.
Okay. So you're willing to let the women out here understand what I'm saying is true, right? You know what I mean? Because
Sounds kind of vague.
oh, okay. Well, what I was discussing was Donald Trump essaying E. Jean Carroll, right? You're familiar with that case, whether you
I
like
did
them.
look very deeply into that case, actually.
Yeah, you know what happened, right? Was he found liable?
Well, a
Yeah.
lot happened.
No, but was he found liable?
for
listen-
defamation? Yes, he was found liable.
NSA, right? Because the box was checked. We saw it, right?
Oh, yeah, the box was checked.
Yeah.
You leftists are super concerned about checking boxes.
Well, that's how things work. We're living, I was taught one
Is
time.
it though?
We live in a paper bureaucracy. In this country, it's all about what's in black and white. All right, you know what they say: the pen is mightier than the sword. Right? You can take somebody's land with paperwork. You know how that works, right? That's how this country works.
Yeah, I know the kind of country y'all are trying to create is one where if you check the wrong box, they make it a felony. Who wants to live in that country?
Well, you didn't seem to have that issue when there are a lot of black folks and a lot of people of color were getting locked up. Y'all didn't seem to care. But
That's
all of a
not
sudden,
true.
all of us.
I've
Well,
been
what
out
have you?
there protesting for equality. I've been doing it for years,
How does that work in your world? You protest for equality?
many times.
Give me an example of a protest you went to.
The Pershing Park protests.
The what?
The Pershing Park protests
Okay.
in DC.
Okay, what was that about?
2002. It was actually an anti-war protest, but I was about 2 weeks out from going into MEPS to join the military, and I was there to tell all the protesters how lucky they were that we were in a country that allowed us to protest peacefully without being arrested, and then we all got arrested.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that that's the same kind of protest. The Pershing Park protest was a series of demonstration and mass arrests that took place in Washington, D.C. in 2002. The protests were against World Bank. Okay, I see. On September 27, 2002, the D.C. Metropolitan Police and the U.S. Park Police surrounded Pershing Park. The police refused to allow people to leave and arrested many, including tourists, legal observers, and peaceful demonstrators. Some people were hogtied and held on a police gym floor for over 24 hours. Okay. What was the outcome? The DC settled with the protester, paying $425,000. The district also agreed to expunge the arrest records of 7 people. Okay, the settlement was part of the 13.25. Okay, I get a little bit of what was happening now. Okay, I wouldn't necessarily, sir, honestly, equate that to what I was asking you about, which is actually standing
You
up for
asked me
people of
which.
color.
Yeah,
I'm
you asked
actually
me
talking
which.
about, have you actually stood up for people of color or
Of
not?
course, I have.
Okay, that wasn't a great example. What are your
Well,
opinion about the
I
George
knew that
Floyd
you.
thing? What is
I
your
knew that
opinion
you.
about George Floyd, if you don't mind?
Sure, I knew that you would look it up, so I wanted to give you one that would come up.
I asked you about George Floyd.
What about George Floyd?
What are your opinion about that? What is your opinion about that situation, if you don't mind? Because
Sure,
you're all about standing up for the small guy, right?
I have been to many protests for lots of
Yeah.
things. I think that recently there was a development that one of the police officers that testified against Chauvin lied, and it's probably going to result in another case in a retrial.
Yeah, but that's all you get. That's your only opinion about it.
Well, I do think there are types of institutional racism here in the states, and it has to do with the D-rug war. I think that's unfortunate and needs to be re-examined. I think it's why a lot of states are legalizing cannabis, and that's important.
I can totally feel the sympathy that you have for George Floyd and his family. I can really feel it.
Okay.
Right? I mean, the way that you know how to just, tap into your emotions that way and really speak to the actual trauma that was inflicted on him and his family by these rogue, out of control cops who literally believed in the MAGA idolatry and allowed it to empower them to go out here and do these terrible things and make themselves think that they're gods on earth and can go around and terrorize black men over a fake whatever their justification is. I just can tell that you really lean into that emotion quite well, Brendan.
Yeah,
Where'd you learn how to go to school and act like that?
there should be citizen review boards. The police shouldn't be allowed to investigate themselves.
Would you brand yourself as racist or anti-racist?
Anti-racist.
So you like DEI work?
No, I
Well,
think
that's what DEI work is
DEI
about.
is racist.
No, DEI work is all about being anti-racist, bro.
No, the United States should be a meritocracy and not based on like Martin Luther King said, judge a person by the content.
So you're
of their
racist?
character, not the color of their
So
skin.
so listen, this is where the work actually comes in.
Is Martin Luther King a racist?
No. But why are we even talking about
Right.
Martin Luther King? This is really all about you, Brendan. And
Because he's the one that said-
what bothers me, honestly, is you just have a problem admitting that you're anti-racist. You wanna
I think you're trying to drag me through the eye of a needle, and I think it's nonsense.
Well, no, you're not. Are you a rich man?
I do okay.
You do okay. You make Elon Musk type money. Because
Obviously
that
not.
parable is all about a camel going through the eye of a needle.
I'm
All
aware.
right, and a rich man. All right, but no, that's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is expose your hypocrisy. Right,
Neat.
right. So you don't want to acknowledge that if you really are anti-racist, you have a very terrible time standing on that, right? Because
I
you
said I
don't want
was
to be you don't want to
anti-racist.
be labeled DEI. You don't want that on you. I get it because you're terrified of that, but it's
No,
really nothing to be
no, I,
terrified. There's
I
nothing
really,
wrong with being a good person.
I
In
really
my
don't care any less what people think of me.
okay, then say that you support DEI work.
Uh, DEI work. No, I think DEI should go away with affirmative action. There, it should be a
But
meritocracy.
I just asked you if you were a racist or not.
I said I was anti-racist.
And that's what to me you need to understand. If you're an anti-racist, that means you're actively going out here
No,
and going against racism in every
no, I
shape or form.
understand your
And that's
politics. And I think
DEI related. That's DEI work. You don't know that?
I understand your politics, and I think it's shallow.
I didn't ask you about what you think. I'm asking you about your
Okay,
personality, your behavior. Like if you see somebody out here mistreating a woman of color, a black man, or a black
of
man
course
of
I would
color,
stand up for them.
you would. So that means you're standing on business, right? You shouldn't
Correct.
have no issue admitting, yeah, I support DEI work because I get it. It's a real issue in this country, and we need people like you that when you're in those moments where you can use your voice and use your position of power to do things to help combat racism, we expect you to actually stand up and do the right thing. Why is that a bad thing for you?
Well, because if you do, DEI often comes with an element that the person isn't necessarily qualified. We want people who are qualified, not people that are just the right skin color
Do you
or the
think Pete
right.
Hegseth is honestly qualified? Because I would make a lot of us have made the argument that Pete Hegseth, he's in over his head, bro. He has no experience, honestly, to justify being our Secretary of Defense, and he has personal issues as well. I mean, I'm looking at him and I'm going, Putin would eat him for lunch because he's out of his league in there, right?
I mean, I disagree. There
But
have
so
been
this is a
people that have
DEI
been voted
hire is my
against.
point. It's a DEI hire, but in the
No,
weird way, right? It's in the reverse though. It's a DEI hire in the worst way.
he wasn't nominated for being white.
Yeah, he was. And I'm glad that you actually put an address on it. And I need you to actually go sit down and actually reflect on it. Like, would Donald Trump have hired a black man to do what he's asking Pete Hegseth to do? If that black guy had all of the stuff, the BS that Pete had going on, all those wives, all those accusations, you think Donald Trump would have been like, that right there is going to be what makes America great again, and my base would love it. You think so? Because
Well,
there's a lot of brothers out here that got that kind of experience, to be quite honest.
yeah, I
And
know that in this particular country, a person is innocent until proven guilty, and
okay,
that it's shameful that the left just relies on
wait,
accusation.
wait. Can you say that last part again? A person
Yeah.
in this country is innocent
It's
until.
until proven guilty, and it's unfortunate that the left only requires accusations.
So let's talk guilty. Donald Trump has been proven guilty.
Yeah, have you looked into
Thank you
that
for
case?
thank no no no. Thank you for digging yourself deeper and deeper into this pit of just complete nonsense. You're there. You're really in there because everywhere you go, we end up being able to point out examples. And I'm not just sitting here kind of just like this is what I want to talk about. I'm literally listening to everything you're saying, and every time we go further and further into this, I end up with an example to share with you, and then you're going to turn around and spin it somehow. So Donald Trump is
Spin
a
it. What do you
convicted
mean spin
felon,
it?
right? Donald Trump is a convicted felon, right? That's
If you accept that a misdemeanor can be turned into a felony, did you examine that case? You're talking, and again, you're talking about in the United States of America, somebody that checks the wrong box can be labeled a felony. That's what you're okay with. And I remember when the left used to be against authority and not, bootlickers for the deep state.
well, listen, that's identity politics, but
Is it?
wouldn't you honestly, wouldn't you, is there a way you can actually take a step back and look at and listen to what we talked about and think about it objectively? Is it even possible?
Yeah, of course. I examined the case very closely. Have you?
Yeah, I
Oh,
created a lot of content about it, right? 22 witnesses, right? All right. 13, 11 invoice, what was it? 12 checks, 12 invoices and 13 journal entries.
right. He checked a box. He checked the
No.
wrong box.
So
Now
here
all of
we
a sudden he's a felon.
so Brendan,
It's disgusting.
are you a lawyer? Or do you have a
I'm
law?
not an
Do
attorney.
you
No.
practice law at all?
I do not.
You know more than the judge in the case?
You Judge Mershon, who should have
Yeah.
recused himself before the case even started.
Just answer to
That
that
guy?
was no.
Yeah, he should have
Right.
recused himself, and it's one of the many reasons
Brent,
that's going to get turned over.
Brendan, so you don't know more than the judge. You never went to law school. Those were you admitted to that, right? So, and you're the one that introduced. You said something along the lines that Democrats simply go off of allegations, right?
Correct.
Without actual convictions.
Correct.
So now we're in a space where we're beyond allegations. We get into convictions, and now you're doing that thing again, right? Where it's so hard for you to see Donald Trump, all right, and see him for who he really is.
Right. Details matter. Did you see that there were no offenses articulated on the issuing document? That in and of itself is grounds for a overturning of that verdict. Not even counting the jury instructions, which is also grounds.
Wait a
for
second. It looks like the
being
TikTok
overturned.
ban. Hold on. It says TikTok ban. TikTok can be banned. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is, right? Did you hear this? This is breaking news. All right, the ban is going to happen. So, obviously, this means we're on our last days on this app. All right, you know what we're gonna do, ladies and gentlemen? Let's give the Supreme Court a huge round of boos and shame. All right, this is some shit stuff. I gotta do this.
Silence! You
Bye.
MAGA demon!
All right, I'm sorry, I had to take care of that. All right, so we got to address that too. Listen up, Brendan. I realize that we're just going into circles. All right, and I'm not really in the mood for doing that. Either you're going to admit that you're wrong or you're not. Which one is it?
I don't think I'm wrong.
Okay, well, listen up. I have some others who might think you are. And I'm going to bring them up because this is an abbreviated show. All right, so let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to bring up my first guest. Good morning, Shay. How are you?
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Yes, I'm
Cole, thank you. How are you doing? I'm talking to my new friend on TikTok today. You know the app is going away anyway, so
I know.
it is what it is. What are your thoughts about some of the stuff you hear him saying?
Well, my question to you, Brendan, is have you ever attended a DEI workshop at work?
Oh no.
Oh, okay. So how do you know about how DEI functions?
I see it in media.
Oh, yeah. See, therein lies the problem. So, Brendan, I'm the person that conducts DEI workshops for very large companies.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually very involved in it. So what you said about DEI is not correct. And since you've never sat through a workshop to understand how it is addressed and how it functions, you're relying on media as you that tells you it has nothing to do with people's skin color. Diversity is about, it can be people with handicap issues. It is women. In fact, the number one group of people that benefit from DEI are white women.
Ooh.
White women are the largest benefactors of it. So, and so it is not about hiring based on skin color. Diversity is everything. Someone with autism, someone with someone that's gay, somebody, everything. So it is not about. Obviously, we want companies to hire people that know what they're doing. It has nothing to do with that. But what we have proven to companies over and over is that you have a 33% more production in your company. You have a higher rate of production in your company if you do diversify your workforce and have inclusion and have equity. So
How's
that's
that working out
what
for
it
you?
is. Yeah, that's what it is. And so companies sign up to do it because they understand that if a lot of companies, the problem that we see, Brendan, in our training and explanation, getting in and talking with the actual people that work for the company.
W Shay, let's go. Brenda, are you listening? She's actually giving you free education. And if you're wealthy, you're wealthy like you say you are. Why don't you go ahead and donate to this operation we're running over here? This is what we call online DEI training. Feel free to reach inside of your wallet right now here on TikTok and just show us all a little love, right? Go ahead, Brendan. Go ahead, Shay, especially to Shay because she's teaching you a lot.
Yeah, it's the media running away with that kind of stuff, and it's really sad. No, Brendan, I'll tell you, there are companies that they slightly get this information and they run out a mandate and they do this and they do that, and so some of the people that are hiring decide that that's what they have to look at sometimes. But that's not the problem with DEI. That's a problem within a company that is too lazy to understand what they need to do. Okay. And they want to hit quotas and we do something. And so it all depends on who the senior staff is, who the senior leadership team is, and how they address it within their own companies. But it's not the problem with DEI as itself. We would all want to live in a world with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Wouldn't you agree?
Why are so many companies abandoning DEI?
Because it's politics. It's politics.
Just because a company does it, sir, it doesn't mean on a personal level you have no responsibility, especially if you're anti-racist, like you said you were.
Yeah, exactly. I'm an anti-racist, Brendan.
And Shay, could you also let him know what other areas are covered under DEI? Because he thinks it's just a bunch of letters. Could you explain what those letters mean, if you don't mind, to this gentleman? Because he's lost.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion. I get it.
Yeah, he knows.
Why did Bud Light lose?
And anti-racism. You didn't add that. You didn't add anti-racism.
Why is Disney tanking?
Why is Disney tanking? What does that have to do with anything? What? How is Disney tanking?
Sir, so here you this is where we're at right now. You're struggling to look at what's happening in front of you right now.
And Walmart, when you read Walmart's release, all they're saying is they're giving different titles. It's all the same stuff. So it's just, like I said, it's politics. It's just politics as usual, right? But did you see that Apple and many other companies are embracing DEI, Target, things like that?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
So,
Yeah, it's very important for a company that uses slaves to have DEI initiatives to try and smooth over that disgusting blight.
Slaves don't get paid for labor, right?
I am aware.
Okay, so why are you using that word?
Well, because Apple uses slaves.
No, they don't.
Oh, they don't.
Okay, how about this? So before I get to that point, because
you're not familiar with the Uyghurs.
Listen,
I'm aware of what the Uyghurs are. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Target uses the Uyghurs in China.
Gross. Probably one of the reasons I don't shop at Target.
Oh, well, don't blame me for that if that's a fact about Target. I don't go to Target either, but whatever.
Okay, so anyhow, I don't buy it. You said that you're a wealthy person, but you didn't donate to this operation we're running right here. So that's a lie, right? You're sitting here getting free DEI training on TikTok, and you're saying a bunch of misinformation and disinformation. This is the problem.
Really?
Yeah. You went over here and you're starting to talk about China now. We're talking about what's happening in this great country of ours that you all.
About Apple.
Huh?
We were talking about Apple.
What about Apple?
Apple, Costco, Target.
Apple needs to have a smokescreen of DEI in order to smooth over the fact that they use slave labor.
No, let's not use the word. Don't use that word. Don't use that word. Okay, because
DEI is clearly.
Yeah, you're darn right it does.
Explain it to you.
Okay.
Yeah. I think you could come up with a little bit of a better word to describe.
It's not about hiring people of color for the last time.
Yeah.
It's not.
Your racism is showing. I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to say that, Brendan. I didn't want to say it. Your racism is showing. Put it away.
Yeah,
You've
so
never attended a
anytime
workshop,
someone
Brendan,
disagrees with you, just call them a racist.
You don't, obviously, you're not in senior leadership and you've never attended a workshop of DEI. You have no clue
if you're asking
what
me
it
if
is.
if you're asking me if I work within the land of corporate stupid, the answer would be no.
See, there you go, playing identity politics.
Not
And
just
so,
corporations either, Brendan. It's in
and,
education.
and so,
It's in education. It's everywhere.
and now, Brendan, see, now that you started playing identity politics, you took me right back to where this show picked up, where I first started. Are you in a relationship at all?
Yeah.
How long have you been in that relationship?
17 years.
Do you think you respect your wife? You're married?
Yes.
You think you're a respectful man? What message do you believe you're sending her? And I don't know if you have kids, but
I
what
do.
message you do? Mm-hmm. What message do you think you're sending them by supporting Donald Trump?
That we care about this country.
What else?
We're generally patriotic in this
Oh
family,
God, there it is.
which is why I served in the military, which is why my wife had a government job working for OPM. Do you know what that is?
Office of Personnel Management?
Correct.
Well, I'm okay. I'm not asking you about that. I'm just trying to really get an understanding of how your mind works, because MAGA logic is definitely something they're going to study for years to come. So you believe that you are showing your wife and daughter, or perhaps sons too. You're showing them positive things by voting for someone you know has been convicted of crimes, someone you know that was impeached twice, someone you know that has SA'd women, someone you know that is, pushing racism, right? You believe that, honestly. You're showing them a good thing.
Sucker and loser. That's
Disrespects our troops. You believe, honestly, deep down in whatever is left of your heart, you believe that?
Yep.
And that's why I say this is a very, very sad situation.
If you say so. I mean, I understand why it's sad for the left, but you can't keep going on lying to people and expecting them to affirm your politics.
what are we lying about?
Well, here, let's see. Is Joe Biden cognitively impaired?
No.
He's not.
Oh, he's not. Oh,
You watched any of his?
see what I'm
latest
saying right
episodes?
there?
He's not. He's not.
That's a
Cognitively
basic.
impaired. Thank you.
That's something everyone who is
One bad
honest.
debate. Yeah,
That's
he's one
something
bad debate.
everyone who is honest can admit to,
Trump's had
right?
thousands
That Joe
of bad
Biden is
debates.
clearly cognitively impaired, but the left, they lied about it for years, and then when they couldn't lie about it anymore, they installed their candidate while calling themselves the
Does he talk
defenders of
about Hannibal
democracy.
Lecter?
Oh yeah, good job.
Talk about
guys.
Hannibal Lecter? Does he talk about airports in 1776? Miss me with your cognitive impairness.
Oh yeah, I know he
Miss
walked
me.
out and looked at
You
a
voted
camera
for a
and said
man that
my-
is
said my
obviously
butt's been wiped.
cognitively
I
impaired.
know he did that. I know
Oh,
he said
yeah.
that the United States
Or
can
wells
be
beating
surmised in
themselves
one
due to
word.
windmills.
Hessen,
Do windmills cause cancer?
Brendan,
Right.
you're doing it again.
Is there a
You're-
big faucet up in Canada that we can just turn on?
Being a racist again?
No. You're doing that thing that you
I'm
Trump
just
supporters
pointing
do.
out, you're going to sit there and y'all sit there and say that Joe Biden is cognitively impaired,
Clearly.
but he has never stood on a stage, made fun of people. He's never stood on a stage talking about fake, characters, as in they really exist. He doesn't do any of that.
Yeah, what he does is he
Sharks and
stands up on
batteries?
stage without a
Sharks and
teleprompter
batteries? What the hell
and
was
talks
that about?
directly to the American
So,
people.
What
Brendan.
about
You
the
guys
flow
can't
of
stand
water?
that.
You can't
Brendan.
flush the
You can't
toilet and take
stand
a
that he
shower.
talks
What
like a
about
Brendan.
that?
regular person.
Brendan,
What
all
about
right.
all that?
Brendan, remember
What
when I
about
said
all
you're doing that again? What I was
Sharpie Gate.
what I was saying, Brendan, you're doing it again. In addition to being racist, is you
Oh,
really you
I'm racist now.
No. You refuse to look at who Donald Trump is, and instead, you got 2020 vision for Joe Biden and the Democrats. I get it.
I
The
was
Democrats. I get it. The
illustrating how
Democrats
easily
have.
you lie.
I listen. I get it. The Democrats have failed you because we didn't, capitulate to the things you wanted us to. Right? We have standards. Right? I get it. Right? But okay, let's move on from that. You are not allowed, and I'm going to make this a rule on this show going forward because this is getting out of hand. You are not allowed to talk about anyone lying when you and I both know Donald Trump is the biggest liar on the face of this earth right now. And don't say he's not a liar.
Yeah, he says he got the hostage deal done. I mean,
Stop it, Brendan. He's not. He lied over
Woodcock.
30,000 times in his first term. Go look it up.
Yeah, who is Steve Witkoff?
Brendan, did you just hear what I just said? Brendan,
you know
honestly,
who Steve
Brendan,
Witkoff is?
Brendan, what did I just say?
I heard what you said.
What
Do you
did
know
I
who-
say? What?
do you
I,
know
I
who
don't care about that right now. I
Of
want
course
you to
don't.
stay
'Cause
on
you don't care
target.
about the truth. You care about your narrative.
Do we have an
care
understanding
about
that
your
listen, no,
propaganda.
Brendan, do we have an understanding that you lost all rights to accuse Joe Biden and the Democrats of lying the moment you voted for someone named Donald Trump? Do you get that?
No.
I'm trying to unite this country every single morning with my show.
Hilarious.
But that's hilarious.
Yes.
I'm not
hilarious.
laughing.
Yeah. So who is Steve Witkoff again?
You don't get an answer. I was in the middle of making a point. Let me say what you go look him up.
Chiropractor? Billionaire? What the fuck? What?
You know what, Brendan?
Wickoff Heights? What?
It's a sad day. It's a sad day in this country when you all will sit here and look at everyone else except for the man or woman in the mirror. Weren't you raised to have some sort of morals, some sort of standards about yourself?
I see
Where
a
did you learn how to?
chiropractor in Florida? Is that who you're talking about?
Steve Witkoff is the envoy that Trump sent to Gaza to negotiate on behalf of Israel. And he got the deal done. And then the first thing that Biden did was stood up there and took credit for a deal that's been there since May. All it took
It was his
all
deal.
it took
It
I
was
get
his
that.
deal.
I get that. And all
Right.
it took was for Trump
It wasn't
and his
Trump's deal. It
envoy
was his deal.
to apply pressure to
His
Netanyahu for the deal
Yeah.
to get done.
Right.
That's how that
Brendan,
works.
Yeah,
Brendan,
he's such a tough guy, right? The world is
Really?
so scared of
Brendan,
him, right?
Brendan. I'm going to
They're
say this to you.
terrified of
Oh,
Trump.
they're
Brendan.
because he's a maniac.
Brendan, I'm going to say this to you. Trump is in an office, right?
And he's a more effective leader than Biden is.
No.
Wrong.
Yes.
Trump
yes.
is Trump in office? Yes or no?
No, he is
Okay,
not
so
going to be
stop.
inaugurated until the 20th.
Stop then. It's like any other game. You watch football. If the team that has the ball or whatever and they score and the time is still in the game, then it goes to the team. You can't talk about stuff that's happened and they're not even on the field.
Seems that Trump is intercepted.
He's not on the field. He's not even in the game, bro. Relax.
Yeah.
So if you want to go that path and say all of a sudden that he can do things even though he's not president, then why hasn't he lowered my utility bill by 50% like he promised? Why hasn't those mass deportations started? Why hasn't he capped credit card interest at 10%? Why is he not why didn't he end the conflict in Ukraine in 24 hours? And every time I've asked you all that, you all say, "Oh, well, Zeus, he's not president." Yeah, it's the hypocrisy, brother. It's the hypocrisy. Y'all play
Let him
both
be in
sides.
office first. I'm like, okay, then you stop taking credit. He's not in office.
Yeah, you can't trick me, Brendan. You
Kids
can't
that
trick
is
me.
on
Listen, Brendan, I'm gonna be honest with
Who
you.
took
I'm
it
not one of
from
your
Hamas?
kids.
Who
I'm not one of your
liberated
kids.
Hamas and Hezbollah? Who was part of that? Who
Tell
did
him, Shay.
that? Who took out the leaders? Who annihilated their armies?
That's a
This
good
is Why
point.
they ended up on their knees? That was Joe Biden.
Thank
Oh,
you, Joe Biden. Thank you, President Biden. So, Brendan, I want to say this. We're not your kids,
American troops in Israel?
Brendan, I want to say this to you because I don't think I
That's
got it out
news.
there. Brendan, are you listening? I want you to understand we are not your kids up here. You're not going to be able to say lies to us and then make us go, "Oh, okay, Dad." No, we are free-thinking individuals up here, so stop the lies.
Yeah, Netanyahu had already said he was agreeing with this stuff. It was Hamas that wasn't agreeing on it. So that's what Joe Biden was able to do, is to get the terroristic groups on their knees in order for them to come to the table finally and agree, because that deal wasn't going to be done until hostages were released. That was the problem. That was the hard thing that they had to get through. So
Thank you.
That was Joe Biden.
And
not
what
Donald
changed?
Trump. Trump
What
can sit there and
changed?
say, I'm going to release all hell. Who cares?
Right, exactly. It was
Who
the threat of
cares?
force.
Biden did release all hell. He actually did it.
Oh, he did.
He
Huh?
actually obliterated their armies and unalived a lot of their leaders.
Oh, really?
That
So
was
Joe
Joe Biden.
has
Yes.
troops deployed in Israel now?
He was okay. Really, Brendan?
Joe Biden
you
commands
think you're a smart
Israeli
guy,
troops?
and then you actually just said that. Like,
What
come
did you?
on.
What was your?
That was
What was your
question.
question, Brendan? What is your question?
The question was, Joe Biden deployed American troops
No.
in Israel?
No.
Oh, so Joe Biden commands Israeli troops?
Okay,
We worked off of our ships in the Gulf. Are you kidding me?
You don't remember when
from our ships?
You don't remember when Iran was trying to attack Israel? You don't remember that, and we defended them. You don't remember all that?
Yeah, I know that.
Okay, who was the president when? Who was the president when that happened? Who coordinated all of that?
Yeah, I know that we do.
The commander in chief. Thank you, President Joe Biden. Brendan.
They just said that we attacked Hamas.
Brendan.
We did.
Brendan.
It was from our ships. We didn't have to put boots on the ground. We gave Israel the weapons they needed, and we tactically helped them.
Brendan, I'm not going to sit here.
So what changed between the last week of May and last week? What changed?
Well, clearly a new administration is coming in. Clearly a new administration is coming in. But again, it happened under Joe Biden's watch, right?
A lot of Hamas
a technicality.
Yeah. So again, you're making excuses, Brendan.
Really?
W. Joe Biden in the chat. Brendan is up here literally struggling to admit that it happened under President Biden's watch, even though he can honestly admit Joe Biden is still the president. It's the most bizarre situation that
Biden's watch. A G side that happened under his watch too.
Oh, now you're gonna feel. Now you're going that direction.
You really think so?
Yeah, I really think so.
Really?
Okay. Well, again, that's misinformation and disinformation. All right. So listen,
should have been sending diplomats
instead
of weapons.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen. Listen. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, right, we have to move on because this is an abbreviated show, and Big Zeus has to get up out of here. Brendan, I want you to understand something before we move on. You're in for a nasty reality, all right, and it's already starting. The fact that you have no ability to see truth at this point. It's alarming. You might as well jump into the driver's seat right now, put a blindfold on, all right? And don't use a Tesla, just use a regular vehicle and just drive. Let that thing do whatever it does. Just put your foot on the gas and go 100 miles an hour. The results are still going to be the same, all right? And in the meantime and in between time, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to warm up this lake of fire because Brendan doesn't get it. And if he does get it, he's still out here pushing those lies. He ran because he knew what was coming.
Midterms.
Ladies and gentlemen, join me and Shay in sending Brendan, that MAGA-possessed demon, straight to hell. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him a huge round of booze and chain.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
Music man, don't W him. He's going to lead you into a ditch. Any last words, Shay?
No, I'm just glad. Thank you for letting me explain a little bit. I mean, there's so much to talk about with DEI. I didn't really, but it's just, it's ridiculousness. If you don't want to work for a company that supports diversity, equity, inclusion, then you need to look at yourself in the mirror and realize what kind of horrible person you want this world to be.
Bingo.
And understand that if you've never attended a staff training on it or ever led any of that kind of stuff, you don't know what you're talking about. There's so much more. It's not about hiring people of color. It isn't.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Exactly. Companies aren't all perfect. Any of us have ever worked for anybody, but it is not the problem within the DEI program.
Bingo.
It's a problem within the leadership. So
bingo.
I'm real clear with that.
Bingo.
But anyway, thank you.
All right.
We'll see each other around. I follow you on all your stuff, and we'll see. I have a feeling Trump will bring TikTok back. But we'll see.
Or, they're not going to enforce it. I mean, I think there's ways around it. If you change your VPN, you can still... It's not like the app is honestly going to be deleted off of your device. You can still go live. At least that's what I understand. It's just It won't be in the App Store. And so I would say, hey, get the latest version of the app before they remove it from the App Store, and you'll be fine at least for a little bit. Right, ladies and gentlemen? That's what I'm going to do. Biden's not enforcing it. They know what this is. They need this. We need this.
Yeah. So we might be blacked out on Sunday, but we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But anyway, love you guys in the kingdom. Thank you for all your support. It's been a fun time, and I'm sure we'll see each other around at some point. But
fair enough. Yeah. All right. W Shay in the chat note.
Oh my God, the inauguration is going to be the coldest it's ever been in 40 years. By the way.
Hell is freezing over, Shay. I get it, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Bye,
W Shay, and God is talking to this country. When he does that with these weather events, the good Lord is talking to this country, and he's letting you MAGA demons know you've committed a great sin against him, and there's only so many signs he can give you before he ends up doing what I'm doing, which is actually putting you really in the lake of fire. And you know what they say? It's eternal fire. It never stops burning. Yeah. So y'all better wake up out there. Oh yeah, he's sending a message to MAGA. All right, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are trying to do a lot in just a little bit of time. All right. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, who do we got? Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, there's so many people to choose from. There's so many people to choose from. Good morning, Nutty. Go for it real quick. All right. We're gonna try to do 2-minute increments, and then we have a special guest again. Hopefully, Kabira is your grandma. Is your mom here? I'm so sorry. Why do I do that? She reminds me of my grandma. That's what it is. Yeah.
You know what, Zeus?
What's that?
If that special guest is ready to come up, I will cede all of my time because I would love to hear from her.
Oh, I don't know if Kabira is
Absolutely.
here. Is your mom here, Kabira? Is she ready? Let's go. You said you would cede all of your time. That's a mighty giant.
Absolutely, because
Well,
especially people like Brendan needs to hear from someone with such wisdom.
fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
So
Is she
thank
ready?
you so much, and I'll get out of here.
All right, W Nutty. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Kabira is your. Oh, there she is. There she is, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. All right. Good morning, Kabira. Good morning, Mom. Are you there? You there? Good morning. Happy Friday. You are up real early, ready to do some real work, I see, huh? Are you there?
You up real early, ready to do some up real early.
I'm up early, yes.
Yes.
If you have
Hold
to
on a
go,
minute.
it's okay.
Hold on a second, Zeus. Hold on 1 second. Let me do something real quick.
Let's do it. What a good treat we're getting
There.
again. All right, can she hear
There
me?
we
Can
go.
she?
There
Am
we
I
go.
coming through loud
Yeah,
and
she should be
clear?
able to
Or-
hear you now.
Now, was she able to hear that
go.
conversation? Was she able to hear the conversation I just had with that previous guest? Any of it?
No, she wasn't able to hear it. She didn't have her ear. What do you call these things? Hearing aid in. She put them in for you, Zeus.
Well, thank you. All right, thank you for putting it in. Because I wanted to honestly check in and ask, why does she believe, or what does she think about? We have a situation in this country where we're trying to show these people who voted for Donald Trump who Donald Trump really is, based on his behavior, based on some of these court cases, and they're struggling to actually look at him and see him for who he is. What do you think is going on in their minds, Mom, if you don't mind?
What do you think is going on in Trump supporters' minds?
They don't know it about. They can't think because they haven't been taught to think, and they can't. They haven't had a lot of experiences, so no one thinks outside of their mind, and they're pitiful.
Oh, so they don't have the experiences, is what you're saying, to actually, put things in perspective? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
That most of them don't, and that doesn't matter whether they went to school or not.
Really? So the education isn't the only issue.
Education isn't the only issue.
No, it's not.
Well, what do you think it's going to take for these folks to wake up and realize that they're on the wrong side, right? And if they don't get it right, they're going to lift their eyes up in a very dark, dangerous, nasty place, right?
It's going to take being hurt.
Mm.
They're going to have to feel it because they can't think through it. So once the hard times or whatever it is Trump is going to unleash on them, when they feel it,
They feel it.
that's when that will be their experience to get outside of that box.
Are you Trump supporters out there? And are y'all listening to this? This is pure wisdom. This is generations and generations and generations of real wisdom coming to you through TikTok. There's no defense. There's no way of running around from this truth. I see it. There's some people out here, Mom, they're getting upset about some of the things you're saying. You're shocking them. Is there anything you would like to say to those people? Because, they think you're out here what they call fear mongering.
He says the Trump supporters think you're out here fear mongering.
Well, and like I said, that's how they think. Trump can't think. Trump is a narcissist. And he can't think. He shows that every day.
Facts.
And evidently, it's like this. Birds follow birds. Because a flock together. He can't think, and they can't think.
Oh, birds flock together. These are some birds. I mean, because you would think birds can, think about things a little bit better. But when you say it like that, I'm lost for words. Yeah, they're saying W grandma in the chat. W mom in the chat. Whatever it is, you're both of them. Obviously, for those of us who are, we crave the truth. We hear what you're saying, and we're going, wow. It's so impressive, and it's amazing that you have the clarity you have mentally to say things the way you do, and have the impact that you have. All right, and honestly, I still want to say thank you again. But as Donald Trump begins to be sworn in, let's just face it. Like you said, there's going to be a lot of people hurt.
That's true. I feel sorry for him, but that's the way it is. A lot of them are going to be hurt.
Do you think that their hatred in their hearts plays any part in this? Because I hear a lot. Huh?
With some of them, yes. Yes, with some of them.
What do you think it is?
Some of them are just plain ignorant.
But they think they're so smart.
Of course they do. You will never meet an ignorant person who thinks he's ignorant.
You right. Wait, you right. Do you Trump supporters hear this? This is wisdom and this is knowledge. This is truth. They can't even go look this stuff up in a book. It's so true.
And I used to be on Facebook, and I had a friend. Well, I won't say he was a friend. He was the brother of a friend of mine.
Okay.
And he was the youngest brother. And he was a strong Trump supporter.
Oh, a brother?
Of this friend of mine.
A friend of yours had a brother.
He was a white guy.
Oh, okay. I thought this was even worse than I thought. Okay, but okay. And he was a strong.
He was a white guy.
They call him ultimate MAGA.
His family was a liberal Democrat. And I don't care how we talked, we could not change his mind. Wow. And he voted for Trump this time. And his sister told me, "Dear, I'm just through. I just can't put up with him anymore."
You can't put up with him anymore.
That's what she says. She can't put up with her brother anymore because she's a Trump supporter.
Wow.
You supported Trump. You heard me, your other sisters and brothers. She said, "I'm just through with you."
She said, "I am through with you." That's a situation right there. And you know what? The sad part is they don't even care. They would give up their family. They would give up their jobs, their cars, right? All of that to be in the cult. to be around this guy Donald Trump. Isn't that something?
That is. And
And,
you know the thing, what's awfully dangerous about it, anyone that you can get to believe the absurd, that's what Trump supporters believe, the absurd, you can get those people to commit the most grotesque, horrible crimes you can think of.
wait a second. Let me make sure I got what you said. Now, anyone that you can't get to, what did that say about the absurd? What did you say? How did that go?
Anyone that you can get to believe in the absurd, you can get them to believe in horrific things.
Oh, anyone that you can get to believe in the absurd, you can get them to believe in the horrific things.
So Trump can get them to do.
Anything.
There you go.
You know
That's
that,
what's dangerous about it.
and you know that speaks to all of this misinformation and disinformation out here. They believe a lot of wild stuff out here, and to your point, a lot of them ended up at that Capitol on January 6th, right?
Right,
Doing something against their own country,
right.
and they still can't process it. They're struggling.
And to show you what I mean, they had that cop with his head, his neck in that door, and none one of them tried to get him out of there.
Yeah.
So they will commit horrible crimes and things. Believe me.
They'll commit horrible crimes. We saw them, like you said. They had those police officers. They had them cornered, and you said not one of them decided to help those law enforcement officers. They didn't because
No.
because their minds had already been, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, he had already taken over their minds. Like you said, they believe in the absurd. So once they get you to do that, you'll do anything.
That's right.
Ain't that something? Wow, wow, wow. Well, you know what I was going to say is, we're heading into what I call a very unique situation, and we're in for a wild ride. Have you ever experienced anything like this that we're dealing with Donald Trump before? Have you experienced anything like this?
No, I don't think anyone has.
Wow,
Not really, you know.
wow.
You
And
read
you,
about
but
things like that, but you don't run into it every day.
now we've talked last time. You've went through a lot of things in this country. You've experienced some real serious things in this country, and you're saying we're in 2025 and you ain't experienced nothing like this. That speaks volumes. That speaks
Well,
volumes.
I haven't. But
Yeah.
now, I'm sure someone has, because as they say, there's nothing new under the sun.
Mm.
It probably has happened. It's just that recent memory.
Your recent, but I mean, yeah.
Germany.
Well, listen.
But
Let's see. I'm looking. People have questions for you. All right. Are you able to answer some questions if you don't mind, Mom?
I'll try. I will try.
All right. Alrighty. Then what I'll do is this. I'll bring up my good friend Q Dog. All right. And he has some questions he wants me to ask you, but he can ask them himself. Hey, Q Dog, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Q Dog, I want to say this. Your voice is deep like my father's voice. So my mother should be able to hear you loud and clear. My dad had a deep voice.
All right. How you doing, Grandma?
Voice. You hear it?
Yeah.
How you doing, Grandma?
I'm doing fine, son.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. My questions, of course, both of my parents have gone on to glory. My mom, she would be, if she was still alive today, she would be 91, and my father will be 90. on the 31st of this month. And of course, they're both together now. But I know I've heard stories. My grandmother, of course, she was born around slavery time, so I remember stories about what she went through and the experiences that my parents went through. My father is originally from Alabama. Can you tell us where are you originally from, Grandma?
Mississippi.
Oh, I know you got some stories about how the Triple K's
Okay.
and white supremacy acted
I'll
down
tell
there.
you about my brother, my middle brother. It was in the summer, and he was dating a young lady. And he had my father's car, and he was all dressed up because it was Sunday, and he had his girlfriend. And they just cruising in the car. They cruised on out of town to the next little town 9 miles away. And this town has 3 red lights.
Yes, ma'am.
When he got to the first red light, he stopped. And when the light changed, he didn't jump off. He just cruised off. And there was a white guy behind him. And he was beeping his horn. And my brother didn't speed up. He just crept along because he was cruising. It was Sunday, and he had his girlfriend. They got to the next light. Repetition. Then when they got to the third light, they were in town. And in these little small country towns, you know, people are out on Sunday, and they have what they call benches out in front of the stores where people sit on them and talk. So he stopped at this red light, and this white guy got out of his, drove his car, and and put his car perpendicular to my brother's car.
Mm-hmm.
Got out, and he said, "Shine, didn't you hear me, Lo?" And when he said shine, my brother said, "Whop!" He slapped that white man in the middle of town with all these white folks sitting on these benches looking. Just that quick, that car was surrounded. My brother told his girlfriend, "Don't let him open that door. You know, keep your finger, mashed out so you couldn't press that little locker." And then they were banging on the car, in a few minutes the sheriff came up and he recognized the car, and then he saw it was my brother. He knew my brother. He knew that was my father's car. So he told the people, "All right, y'all get on down here. What's going on here?" And they told him what had happened. He said, "Well, don't worry about that. I'm going to take this boy all over to the jail. Y'all go on now." And he's looking at my brother, kind of giving him a nod, meaning, "I got your back covered." So he dispersed the crowd, and he asked the girlfriend, "Can you drive?" She said, "Yes." He said, "Well, you take this car on back, and you tell Strong I got his son over in the jail. But don't come up here before sundown, 'cause you know how these people are." So he took my brother to the jail, and he told my brother, he said, "Here." He gave him one of his hats and a shirt to put on. So with this guy, he said, "I'm going to keep you here until sundown." He said, "When sundown comes, I'm going to let you out, and you run to the colored folks' side of town." He said, "Because there will be no way that I can protect you from this crowd that will be here in a few minutes." And he wasn't lying. He let my brother loose, My brother ran to the black side of town and he knocked on people. Oh, they had gotten the word. Oh no, you that nigga. The folks said, no, they slammed the door. He run to the next house. Back, back, back. Yeah. Oh, get away from here, get away from here. They scared. They finally ran. He knocked over his door. The lady gave the door. She looked at him. She said, oh, you real strong, boy, aren't you? Yeah, I heard her. Come over here, boy. She said, ain't nobody gonna come in this house and bother you. And she said, she gave him something to eat and put him up in the attic. And she stayed there. Nobody came there. It had dark, it wasn't dark. My father, meantime, the girlfriend had told my father. My father went home and he was busy loading his shotgun because everybody in my family
Had pew-pews.
learned to shoot. So he went home and he got all his rifles. And he had another friend of his, my father, and my younger brother. And my mother said, what you doing? Where you go? I'm going to get my boy. Where? He's in Shelby and he's in jail. Well, you can't go up there. They're going to kill you too. He says, well, they'll have to kill me because I'm not coming back without my son. And I wanted to go too because I could shoot just as well as they could.
Yes, ma'am.
So my father said, no, you stay here and take care of your mother. He went up there and he made the round knocking on the door. Finally got to that lady's house. And she said, yes, he's here. You can have. But that just goes to show you there was a mob wanting to kill him, but there was this one white man. He was a sheriff. He stopped the whole thing.
Yes.
So there's some good in everybody, and some bad in everybody.
Wow.
Thank God for that, Sheriff. And these are this is the reason, Grandma, I asked you to tell this story because with me, Zeus, and my brother Nutty that just came up on the panel, we try to educate these folks that are living in today's time that voted for Trump, knowing that his whole history has revolved around white tea supremacy and the triple Ks. And even going to the point of using his slogan, make America great again. And I brought it up on topic yesterday in Zeus's live in reference to how things triculate down, because they also have the Triple Ks also have a newspaper that's still current to the day called the Crusader, and they had a comment in that newspaper basically saying America was not great. It was not great, not because of who our forefathers were, but because of what our forefathers were, but because of who they were. And they said America is founded as a white Christian republic. Now, we all know that his father was affiliated with the Triple Ks. He got arrested being around them back in the 30s, a riot. He has people that follow him to the day, stand down, and stand back and stand by. And like you said, Grandma, birds of a feather flock together. But a lot of these folks, they wanna be delusional and act like they have amnesia of what took place just 5 years ago. And I'm quite sure you've been in Mississippi. I'm quite sure you done seen the dogs turned on black folks. You know, seeing water hoses turned on black folks, because we all seen it on video. But I'm quite sure if you being from Mississippi, you done seen it face to face. And just that story alone, that tells you how people think back then. They got kids back then, and they're teaching them that. Now that's this generation that's trying to go back with the control factor. Sit down, don't say nothing, keep your eyes down. Don't look at no white tee woman face to face. Because I know back then they take you to jail for that. And it's sad.
Now-
It's sad we got to be on this platform still discussing it.
Now, listen, we're rounding real short. Thank you, brother Q Dog. I appreciate that. Nutty, did you want to get something in? Mom, Grandma, you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, I brought someone else up, Nutty, and then we're gonna have to wrap it up if you don't mind. Nutty.
Yeah,
Wrap it
I'm
up,
here.
brother. Wrap it.
I'm here. It is good to be in your presence, ma'am. It is really good to be in your presence. Like Q, my mom, my grandmother, they're both gone. And to sit and listen to you, you just reminded me of my grandmother, hearing stories growing up, hearing the realities of our people and what our people had to go through. Now, on this app, especially on this live, we've talked about those things like you described on sundown towns. And there's people still denying that sundown towns existed and still exist. So I appreciate you telling us your lived experience, because that's not a story. It is a lived experience. And I just wanted to say I appreciate you. Much love to you. And I'm hoping that with all the evil that we know that's coming to the White House on Monday, I'm hoping that he actually does something good and save this app, because the president, our current president, has already announced that he's going to leave it up to the next administration to enforce the law. So I'm hoping that he actually saves this app, because we need more story times like this, because people need to hear stories of people who've lived this reality, because their biggest thing they want to say is, oh, did you experience this? There's no one alive that experienced this. Well, the devil is alive, because we still have our ancestors, well, not even ancestors, we still have relatives that are alive that went through this. So I appreciate you so much. You have no idea. And I hope we're going to be able to speak to you again. Thanks a lot, Zeus, for letting
You're
me out.
welcome. All right. Now, Grandma, any last words before we depart? All right, because Zeus does have other affairs to tend to. All right. But this was, as they said, this was necessary, and I appreciate all that you've done.
Yes, I appreciate you having me on. And anytime, I'm not working, so anytime you'd like.
Well, we know where you know where I'm at, and I know where you're at. All right, and hopefully, like Nutty was saying, this app stays where it's at. And if Donald Trump does that, you know what? It's like you said. There's always somebody in there that does something good, right? It can happen, right? And we'll continue these kind of conversations. All right.
Okay.
All right. Love your grandma, ladies and gentlemen. W grandma in the chat. No lies detected. Kabira, thank you so much.
Thank you, Grandma. I appreciate
She
it.
was looking forward to speaking with you again, Zeus. Like I told you, she really enjoyed herself. She periodically she does her. She likes to walk through the park. Go for a little walk and
Yeah.
do a few little exercises. So this was something to help her. Made her day. So I want to thank you.
Well, thank you, and let her know she spoke to well over 1,000 or so people this morning once again. So obviously she's very popular on TikTok. So tell her to keep up the great work, and if she got some more information out there that she thinks we should know about, tell her to feel free to always let you know, so you can let me know. All right?
Okay, hey, let me tell you this one quick story, and I'm gonna go back in 12 when Obama ran again, right?
Right.
My mother was an advocate for people going out and voting. So she goes to the corner store and she sees this one lady talk to this lady about voting and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
It worked. And this lady came to me and she said, you know, this elderly woman came to me and started talking to me about voting. I said, did she have, at the time, my mother had dreads, right? She
Yeah.
dreads. She said, yeah. I said, that was my mother.
She's always out there.
Yeah, she was still putting in work at 80 years old.
Wow, 80, and now she's 93. Wow. I appreciate that, all right? But you know what? That's a sign for all of us. The work never stops, right? We always have to keep standing up for what's right every single day of our life, right?
Right.
Hey, sis, I got one more topic that I want you to touch on if you already don't already know about it.
What's that?
You heard about the tweet that he put out yesterday or this morning in reference to child support, right?
No, I didn't.
So he puts out a tweet, and listen up, MAGA women. Listen up, actually, all women. He puts out a tweet saying that if the father has been paying child support going forward, the mother can no longer claim that child or children on her income taxes. Whoever is getting the child support versus the court order or whatnot that's on document.
Wow.
Forward, because you've already gotten those funds from that parent, you will no longer be allowed to file your child under your taxes. So if you've been used to getting $2,000 to $15,000 a year, that's over with.
Wow. He put that on his platform.
I reposted it. It just went into play.
Okay, well, listen, we got to look at it, but I'm really behind schedule, y'all, and I got to get up out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, W. Kabira, WQ Dog, W. Nutty, W. all of you, all right? What a great show, but unfortunately, we got to keep it short, and I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you both. I really do appreciate you, all right? I seriously do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, that wraps up today's show. Oh, my God, did we laugh? Did we cry together? Yes, we did. To the Trump supporters that listened to that information that Grandma shared with us. I'm going to call her Grandma. I think that's just better, but I get it. Make sure you apply that to your daily life right now while you're out here trying to make it seem like it's just the Democrats. No, people have lived experiences out here, and things like what you see happening with the Trump administration. Oh, yeah, you're waking the demon up, and this is what happens. But you know what I got to do, ladies and gentlemen? You know what? I'll give you all another round of applause. Thank you for all of my subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. Without you, this show wouldn't be what it is. I also got to give one last round of boos and shaming. You know exactly who these boos and shames go to. These goes out to all of the Zeus haters out there. And they're not just my haters, they're your haters. They get on this app day in and day out, and they pretend like they care. They really don't. They live a lie, and they know we know it, but they try to lie to us anyway. We're not falling for it, all right? And like Grandma said, you're going to have to feel it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them one last round of boos and shame. Get out of here.
Silence, you MAGA.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get straight to drill, baby, drill, and then we're out of here.
For these guys, they go crazy.
We're out of here. Take care.
The late great Hannibal Lecter, drill, baby, drill, gonna frack. Drill, goes a frack. So baby,
have a great rest of your weekend. I'm out of here. So sorry I had to cut it short, but Zeus has other affairs. Catch you next time, Heaven. Have a great rest of your morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Tiffany, for the people. She said, have a great rest of it.
They always go back to what they want.
Let's go. They can't help it.
She's a radical left long.
Have a great rest of your morning, ladies and gentlemen. We did that.
And we will fight.
And drill, baby, drill.
We're gonna drill, baby, drill.
I might go live tomorrow. I might have to because, this is the end, they say.
Guys, we're gonna drill. We're gonna take out.
Thank you, and we're gonna lower your taxes. Hey, thank you, everyone. It's been great, honestly. Drill, baby, drill. We're gonna frack. Hey, come on, Grandma. You know what we do. We drill, baby, and drill. You know you got that dress out still. It's your birthday. It was earlier, right? Thank you, Shay. You want me to lower your taxes? Hey, okay, I'm alone. You want me to pay off your debt?
Insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal Lecter.
They do.
Okay, they say, why would he mention Hannibal Lecter?
Oh.
We're gonna lower your taxes.
Hey, W Heaven. Great Hannibal. Hey, let's go, author Eagle. I know you're out there. All right, you know you love this content, ladies and gentlemen. No one does it like us. WN. You know they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal. Woo! Let's go. Let's go. Hey. Time. Drill, baby, drill like it's Hannibal Lecter time. W Kabira in the chat. Let's go. Thank you. They go crazy when I say, I see you, Jackie. Woo. Thank you for sharing your mom with us, Kabira. Seriously. You don't have to, but you share so much with us. That tells me, and it shows us all, you have a huge, huge heart. Right, ladies and gentlemen? W Kabira, you too, and all of you do. You too, Tiffany. You don't have to, but you do. I appreciate it. We're going to keep up the work, ladies and gentlemen. Either on this app, Red Note. You should see my Red Note video, right? I can speak a little Chinese now. All right. Take care, ladies and gentlemen, and stay safe out there in those TikTok streets.